Alright, y'all, we're on the way to Vegas, and since we're going to Vegas, we stopped here in Barstow to fill up. Got, just me, Shorty, the dog, some stuff here in the back, and we stopped at Barstow. I want to see how much fuel we put. We put $40. That's all we put. And I think that should make it 170 miles north to Henderson, Nevada. So let's try this. Let's hop in and see how much fuel we got. Now, I did run it all the way empty here to the Flying J in Barstow. So let's see how much fuel we got with $40. 6.8 gallons. Should be maybe about half a tank. Oh, would you look at that? Right on the dot, half a tank. So, it says it has 244 miles of range. It said 249, but since I'm idling here while talking, it's going down. 170 miles to go. Should have plenty enough range with half a tank. So, let's run this MPG loop to Henderson, 170 miles. There is uphills, there is downhills, and there's heavy wind right now. So this might be a little challenging, and I probably didn't plan this through, but cross our fingers, we make it. So just cruising along here, I-15 north, and we're just past, I have no idea. We're almost halfway to Baker, I guess. Halfway point between Barstow and Baker. But I guess I never told you, but we got a new Outlander, and I mean, it's been enjoyable. I have not too many complaints about it so far. I guess while we're doing this quick MPG test, I could give you maybe a quick, honest recap on the 2022 Outlander. So this being such a, well, not a huge vehicle, but it is on the bigger side, and it's only a 4-cylinder, and the EPA claims they'll get 30 miles per gallon on my specific model because I have the all-wheel control. All-wheel control is basically Mitsubishi's version of all-wheel drive, but it has like this super all-wheel control that the Lancer used to have, where it has like active yaw control or something like that could power each different wheel and that sort of thing. This car is a 4-cylinder with a 8-speed CVT, whatever that means. I mean, it does act like an 8-speed, but it is a CVT at the same time. And when you put this car in eco mode, you do feel it. And it only makes like 170 horsepower, 180 horsepower, something like that. I'll put right here, I'll put up in the screen, I'll put the real numbers of how horsepower and torque. But I know it's under 200 for each. I don't know if this engine and transmission is built in such a way where it does not feel too underpowered. It does have enough grunt to actually pass. Like it really could get up and get going to a certain speed. Once you start hitting like that 80, 85 mile an hour range, it starts, you start feeling that it needs more power. Now, I do not have the top of the line Outlander either. I don't have the SEL touring pack with the dual interior color with like the leather color with it's not the SEL touring pack. That's what I'm trying to say. It does not have the panoramic sunroof, all that. It's the SE model. So it's the in-between one. There is an SEL special edition, which in my opinion, it's not really worth it unless you want to pay $1,000 extra because you want full what's it called? You want full leather seats and power mirrors. Well, I mean power folding mirrors, because it does have power mirrors, but for $1,000 extra, I mean, I didn't really see it worth it. Plus, I don't like full leather either way. As far as a highway driver, well, I'll say this: it rides really, really nice. Going up a hill like I am right now, it's only chugging along at 2,000 RPM. I have the MI Pilot Assist that's connected with Mitsubishi's GPS and Telelink system, or My Mitsubishi Connect, and it works. I mean, it really just works until you take your hands off, of course. But if you take your hands off, like, see, I'm not touching the wheel, the car will start panicking. It drives itself basically for about 30 seconds. But after 30 seconds, warnings start coming out that you need to put your hand, like right now, you need to put your hand back on the wheel. Once you put your hand back on the wheel, well, it does that. Now, I've only had this vehicle for 3,900 miles so far. I don't know until when I plan on having this vehicle. I might just run it up to 100,000 miles. Might run it up to 50,000 miles. Or I might run it to 30,000 miles. I'm not sure yet. I still don't know. I do like the car. I really do like it. But it's barely been 3,900 miles, so there's not really much you would expect out of a brand new car. I mean, you're not going to expect it to break down or anything within like 3,900 miles. I mean, I hope not, at least. You do have your basic infotainment system. Like, this is a pretty big screen. It has a 9.5-inch display or 9-inch display. It's more than big enough for me. There's some people that want like big tablets size infotainment systems in the middle. I mean, you really don't need much more than this. You got your tuner knob, you got your volume knob, and you got the most important buttons right in the middle. You got your audio, menu, map, camera. This does come with a 360-degree camera, front-facing camera, rear, sides, and all that good stuff. You do have different camera modes when you're moving around at slower speeds. And I don't know, I really can't tell you much more about this car. I mean, I would really have to go into a in-depth review, because this is just an MPG review for now. But if you guys want to know more about adventures I had, off-road stuff that I've done with it already, you know, I've pretty much taken this car to its almost limit, and it's done pretty good. It hasn't done that bad. So right now I'm headed uphill. The hill just past Baker, headed to Vegas, north I-15. And this is one of the heavier passes that the 15 has on the way to Vegas. And as I said earlier, doing 75 miles an hour, still having cruise control. Gotta put my hand back on the wheel. Okay, use another 30 seconds. And we're doing around 2,700 RPM, which is honestly not that bad for a vehicle that has under 200 horsepower, because my truck used to do this hill at 2,300 RPM, doing around 75, yeah, around 75 too. So, I mean, it's not a big loss. My truck had a big V8 with over 350 horsepower. This one has under 200 horsepower, and it's at 2,700 RPM. So, I mean, and the RPM's even dropping a little bit. So, I mean, yeah, it's underpowered supposedly. It could have a bigger engine, but remember, it is a CVT. And Mitsubishi does tune their engines to the CVT and try to protect the CVT by giving it less power and not over stressing the CVT. So, I mean, they do it for their own reason. They got the reason. It works. And right now, we're still going uphill and 75, no problem. So, I mean, yeah. But it is going to hurt my MPG, I know that. Being over 2,500 RPM for a while, so. There it is. Yeah, it's not that bad. Haven't lost too much yet.
Well, barely.
So, we're approaching our destination here in Henderson Ranch. Pretty much middle of nowhere. These houses right here are brand new.
Unpaved road.
Yeah, I know. These houses here are brand new. Like,
What the hell?
yeah, they just build these houses. Because they were not here, and this is our destination. I'm pulling up the property now. Nothing but dirt. And let's find out what the estimated MPG was according to the trip computer. Let's find out. So here we go. 80 miles of range left. About quarter tank left, which is not bad for 170 miles. Now let's turn it off and let's see how much this calculated. 30.7 miles, which is pretty much what I averaged, 30.5. So I guess the EPA is right. Highway mileage is 30 miles per gallon. It's not all the little ones you see right there, like those two right there that are way down low, or when I drove maybe like a mile or two, that's averaging about like 14 and a half. That one's 14 and a half. That one's up there in the 30s. That was like 28, but that was out in the city. And right now, the last about, I don't know, let's say the last 10 miles, we're city driving. So to still be at 30.7, maybe the last city miles made the MPG go a little lower. So maybe we could have been at 31. Who knows? But there you saw it. It was 30.7. And here we are. So maybe later we could do a proper MPG test loop where we could just do it off the pump, not what just what the trip computer says. That we could get more accurate results. But for now, that was just a quick MPG review of the new 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. And I hope you guys like this video. If you guys want me to do a very, very in-depth review about this vehicle, I'll do it later. So until next time, peace. Goodbye.